you so much for joining. Today, I'm just going to go over some of the things that we offer to help you market a listing for your client. So if you guys have any questions, just jump in. Feel free to ask anything. But I'm going to start by sharing my screen. All right, can you guys see my very messy screen?
Yep. Can you hear me? Yeah, okay, I'm gonna mute myself.
Where is Poobert?
I don't know, actually. I didn't change it to this. I must have moved the Rupert picture to another file. But okay, so for you guys, there are a lot of items that we offer you as far as ways to market the property. So first things first is going to start by having a listing sign outside of the property. We have listing signs at the office that you can borrow if you like, but it is ideal for you to get your own sign, because right now, if you have a listing sign from the office, the lead is going to potentially call the office, not call you. If a call came in for you, we would do our best to get it to you, but I still think having your information outside the property is best. Another thing as far as exterior signage is going to be A-boards. If you want a customized A-board for an open house, that's something we can help you with too. So I just want to start by showing you guys a couple options for signs. So Lisa, I know we haven't ordered signs for you yet. Jada, did we do any for you yet? I don't know if we did.
No, we did not.
No, we did not. Okay. So I know these all look the same, but there's actually quite a bunch of different types of signs in here. So for example, at Realty One Group Turnkey, we try really hard to embrace your personal branding and help build you as a brand. That way your business is timeless. So this is Jordan Pritchard's sign, for example. Mine's got my logo on it. I think Christy Hall's is probably the one that's the most different from all of us, or perhaps like Lexi Little. Michelle Gowen's got her teal color. I will figure out how to incorporate your personal branding into your signage, but we also have just like the classic one style signs. And a lot of these can also be purchased, or similar versions can be purchased through DSign, which if you go to the one login, I'm just going to show you guys really fast how to get here. So one login, your apps, everything. And then right here is DSign. It'll open it up in another tab and you'll be able to buy directly through Realty One Group Corporate. If you do order through DSign, just a reminder to ask them to take off the R logo for Realtor, as our office is not affiliated with National Board of Realtors. So beyond that, a lot of times what our agents will do, biscuits, I hate when this is up here.
I do have a sign from my old company, it's the Realty One, but I could just probably get a rider that says turnkey on the bottom. I think that would probably be okay.
So I am the brand ambassador for our office, and I will be honest, I hold those reins pretty tightly because I do want to embrace your personal branding like we did with Lexi, like we did with Michelle, but there are some brand standards as far as what needs to happen with the logo, with the equal opportunity housing logo. All those things are things that you don't really have to think about factoring in, that I'm happy to do for you. So if you're considering getting a sign redesigned, or you already have signs and you just want them replaned and re-vinyled or something, I can still design those templates for you and then send them over to the printer for you.
Okay.
The only thing though we require is what the Department of Licensing requires, and that's the Realty One Group Turnkey logo. It has to say that on the sign and can't say another brokerage name. So if you have signs that you like and they meet brand standards, which I'm sure they did because they're with another Realty One Group, hopefully they do. But assuming they do, all you need is just a sticker. It doesn't look as good, but if you want to cut costs right now and try and save and just put a sticker on your sign, that's totally acceptable.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Turnkey. I'll have to take a picture and I'll send it to you, Robyn. You tell me what I should do.
That sounds good, because even then I can help you figure out a place to get stickers printed in that right size and font.
Okay.
So that is something. So I know that we typically go with the round signs. That's just really classic for our company. It's a huge way that we stand out. It's an attention getter. If you are interested in a rectangular or square sign, those are totally permitted too. It's no big deal. So after you get that kind of exterior sign, I'm going to look up A boards. So we have a couple different templates for A boards, but this is sort of generally how they look. If you have a taller version or a different size, same deal, we can get that edited for you and get the right design that you'd like. Additionally, in order to draw attention to your open house or to your listing, you can have directional signs. So let me see. Oh, I looked up directions. Hold up. There we go. So for example, I made these for Blen, and she had a listing that was deep in the suburbs and you had to turn left and right and left and right. And so she went back out to like the main city drag and then put these on the corners that directed people to her listing. So we had a couple different options for her to choose from, and we can do the same thing for you guys as well. So that's probably about it for exterior signage. Isaac, is there anything you wanted to talk about additionally to that?
No, I just, yeah, really encourage you to get to get your sign with your phone number, even if you just got one. It's you want
Rachel
those
has the
calls going
prices.
directly to you when they come in. And so, yeah, I think that's spot on. Obviously, if you're someone who likes to do your own design, you're welcome to. But it's great having a resource like Robyn who can help you with the design. And obviously, we don't charge for that, so we're happy to do that.
And also, if you guys need pricing or anything like that, Robyn just said it, you guys can reach out to me and I will send you all of the vendors that we use and you can figure out pricing.
Exactly. And you're totally welcome to use your own vendor, but Rachel's reached out to all these companies to figure out what the setup cost and then what the cost is per sign. So sometimes, like, honestly, I'm a new agent. I am hoping that someday I have 2 listings, but I think having 2 listing signs for me right now is probably plenty. And I think it came out to like $140 or something. So not bad at all. Definitely something you can write off as a business expense. So after the exterior signage, there's some things that I think look nice in the home. So unfortunately, you know, we have a global pandemic, and so COVID-19 has changed a lot in the real estate world. It is best, I think, to have a COVID-19 guidelines flyer on the outside of the property. So like if you were approaching the front door, you could maybe have this on the siding next to the front door or something. And then we have COVID signage for inside the property as well. So we also, on top of that, have similar signage for open houses. So as we've sort of fluctuated between phase 2 and phase 3, these numbers have changed, but currently it's 1 broker and 10 guests. So it's, when you read the Northwest multiple, I think it says 10 persons in addition to the broker, which means 10 people plus you. So we've got that. And then we have this posted on the inside of the property. So it says, you must wear a mask at all times, blah, 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 stay 6 feet apart, social distance. Northwest Multiple came out and said that even though the president has said that we don't have to wear masks if we're vaccinated, and WMLS, it's still required by us to wear masks when we're inside the property, unless the seller explicitly says otherwise. Isaac, is that your understanding of it as well?
Yeah, just inside the property, out of respect for the seller, everybody has to wear a mask. Beyond that, things are really loosening up. So we'll keep everybody up to date on MLS guidelines, because we unfortunately we have to follow what the Northwest MLS says. So it's really not up to us. We have to do what they say, and
It's not even up
they
to
have
the president.
heavy-handed fines if we don't follow it. So yeah, just follow the rules until they change.
I think it's also nice. So for Craig's listing, for example, he had masks there, and then he also had hand sanitizer at the front door. So he had this printed up and next to a little table. So it got your attention when you walked into the property. And so if a listing agent brought their clients and they didn't have a mask, he was still protecting his seller. We also have a welcome to the open house sign. We have an open house sign-in sheet. And then we also, I'm not sure where it is, but I can find it. We have signage for inside the property as well that we designed for Craig. I think we only have the luxury version right now, but it talks about picture yourself living here. And then it's got your socials on there so people can take selfies within the property. Obviously, you know, if it's like a 300,000 residential home that needs new floors and new paint, probably not going to take selfies in there. But if you have a listing that has a unique feature like something pretty in the backyard or a front patio swing or what have you, it's something you could post if you wanted.
And where can we find these signs?
You just ask Rachel or I to design them
Okay.
and we'll custom design them for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Feature cards. So feature cards are something that I'm a little on the fence about, right? Like we have luxury ones and we have just plain, just classic easy cheese ones. I think feature cards can be really helpful when there's something that the buyer might not notice or would not have otherwise seen. So stainless steel appliances all stay with the home. It's the all stay with the home part that warrants this being a feature card. Like there's no reason to have stainless steel appliances in a feature card in the kitchen when you can see with your elf eyes that there are steel appliances there. So like wired for generator, heat pump, and AC, that's something that the buyers might not have known. That's something they would like to know, blah, blah, blah. We can custom design these for you as well. So that it'll say listing by, and then your name. If you have any of your own personal logos or what have you, we can add those in here, specific fonts, we're all good. I like to keep the one branding on here, but we can change that to the black, white, or flat gold logo as well.
I like putting remodels that maybe people wouldn't notice with their eyes on feature cards, like all new electrical in 2018. That's huge, right? But you can't see that because that's behind the house. I mean, behind the walls. So I love doing things like that. All new plumbing, kitchen remodeled in 2016, things like that. I also love. I think it's funny when it's like a home on the water and someone says, check out the view. It's like, yeah, obviously. But I've seen I've actually done this on a listing where there's a really nice view of Rainier out of the living room. And we list in November when there's not a nice view of Rainier because there's clouds all the time. So I'll say beautiful view of Rainier because I want them to know there's a great view of Rainier even if you don't see it right now. So those are some ideas, but you can do whatever you want for feature cards. A lot of times I think feature cards are a nice thing to tell your seller that you do too, especially in a situation where you're competing with other listing brokers. And it's just one other way you can separate yourself from all the other listing brokers who maybe aren't going above and beyond. So those are some of the reasons to do feature cards. I know they kind of seem silly, but yeah, this one right here, this is great idea of ideas to put on a feature list or on feature cards, because people notice, little things, but they don't know if the roof's new. They don't know if you have a new furnace and so on. So those are, I think that's very smart to have those.
Those are designed by you guys and you just like email us a copy so we can print them off. Is that how it works?
Mm-hmm. Or if you'd like, we can print them off and then you can pick them up at the Gig Harbor office or Tacoma office, whatever's easier for you.
Okay.
Or Robyn, if someone's in a hurry and just because yours and Rachel's time is sometimes, it's limited based off of how many requests you have, you can share these templates with people so that they can make them themselves, right?
Absolutely. So obviously we wouldn't share this one. We would already create it so it's custom to you. So all you have to fill out is the new features include or original features include. So for Craig's listing, for example, we did have feature cards throughout the home, but we also do this thing that we call like our favorite parts of the neighborhood, our favorite parts of the house, and we have those written as though the seller was the one writing them. So we talk about, like they know the location, but they don't maybe know that there's a ton of parks in the North Slope or what have you. The new features list. So like Isaac was talking about, the new electric, new plumbing. Sometimes even if you have feature cards and you have them spaced throughout the house, having something like this that just sits on the counter that they can just pick up and grab or take a picture of is easier for them than taking pictures throughout the home. And let me look up favorite. So this was another one that we did for Devin. So favorite parts of the neighborhood. And then we also had our favorite parts of living here. So like I said, there's some stuff that, you know, as a broker, you want to stay as neutral as possible. You don't want to make it sound like you're trying to solicit to families or a specific race, or, you know what I mean? Like, you can't be discriminatory in any way. So having the sellers, if they're talking about how much their family enjoyed having people over for the holidays, that's something that you could talk about from the seller's point of view that might take a little bit of the heat off you as the broker.
Well, the simple rule is you can't say, for example, you know, great family neighborhood or anything like that. But
perfect kid's bedroom.
Perfect. Yeah, exactly. That's where you're crossing the line. But I mean,
the word like families is pretty vague. Families can mean a single woman and a dog. It can mean a family of 15 with grandmas and uncles and cousins.
I would just say there's really no need to market that way. It's so easy to market in a way that you're not breaking fair housing rules. So it's pretty straightforward. If you have questions about something that you're writing, you think it might be skirting along the line, don't hesitate to send to Robyn, Rachel, or myself, and we can review it. But ultimately, it's not too difficult. Just you know, try not to say things like family, you know, great family neighborhood, great family house. You know, we can argue if it's silly that these are the rules, but they are. So it's not too difficult.
Perfect. And then when I was talking about like the favorite parts of living here, the way that I've written it, like you can see like on Craig's listing, for example, we have multiple garages, and that to me as a buyer doesn't mean anything. It's like, oh, there's a garage on the main floor and then there's 2 additional garages on the lower floor. The benefit of that upper floor garage is that you can bring the groceries straight in from the car to the kitchen. So that's something that maybe the buyers wouldn't have known, but if you point it out, it does come across as a benefit to the buyer. So we've got those. I think that's some of like the really basic stuff as far as signage for the property. If you have any questions about that or you need help coming up with ideas, just let me know. I'm happy to sort of imagine living in the property with you. I also would recommend, so when we were talking about having the sign about, you know, hello, welcome to the open house, I'm Craig Tuttle, that would be a great place to also have some of your business cards. And I know that you're like, well, if someone's at my listing, then they're probably already working with an agent. Sometimes they are, but sometimes they just called someone off of Redfin and asked them to show them a home, and maybe they weren't vibing or something. That's an opportunity for you to leave your card and have them see what a great job you did with the listing and have them contact you. Obviously, if it's your listing, there's the opportunity for dual agency, and that can be a little bit sketchy. But for example, Michelle Goen, she got a lead from one of her open houses. She didn't want to deal with dual agency, so she was able to refer it out to our brokers, and that way she got a 30% cut. Awesome. Buyer ended up not winning the listing, but if they had, that would have been a pretty sweet deal. So after you've got your signage stuff, I know one really big thing our agents ask about is flyers. So we do have a couple different options of flyers for you. We've got sort of a traditional style one that's got the bedrooms, baths, square footage, what have you. We have a more sort of masculine looking, like industrial. We use this one primarily for like commercial industrial, but it's also really great for like vacant land because there's a lot of information. Like you're not going to be talking about, I don't know, the fantastic kitchen. You're going to be talking about the potential to build and then include some of the things that people want to know. Like, oh, this is a beautiful lot. Can we have a manufactured home? No, it's got to be built on lot. And then Rachel has created a bunch of flyers. So for example, Jada, I believe we've got a flyer for you. I have to finish tweaking it, but this is what your flyer looks like. Sorry, I'm on Zoom, so obviously it decides to go a bit slower. So we've got it basically set up so you are the primary focus, and then we've got the cover photo. Typically, I'm going to be honest, I don't recommend putting the listing price on the flyer, because if the house sits on market and you have to do a reduction, then you have to get all new flyers printed. In this market, it's not really a big deal. And also, I feel like people aren't taking flyers from properties like as often as they used to. So this is something where if you had a listing, let's say it's in Tacoma, it's single family home, it's like 420 or something, people will probably walk by and want to take flyers. I would print, 25, 30 of them, and you're probably set. I've also seen people leave the flyers in the home. That way people can grab them on their way out. But if there's any personalized branding you have, we can add it to your flyers. We want basically everything that is branded to you to match. So your open house signs, your listing signs, your flyers, your feature cards, all of it should look and branded and be feeling like you.
I also love the idea of taking like one of these templates and laminating it and then hole punching one side and hanging it from the signpost so that people going by can see information about the home. But there specifically, I really don't want to price. Number one, not in order, but because the price may change. But two, and probably more importantly, because I want them to see the pictures of the home, see the description of the home, see my name and everything, see the address and be like, what's the price? And call me. So I can say, oh yeah, I'm glad you asked. Here's the price. Do you want to set up a showing? I can meet you there in 30 minutes. It's a great way to get leads, because if you just tell them all the information, they're less likely to call you. So that's another important reason to consider not giving them all the information up front, giving them an excuse to call you.
Exactly. So that's always an option too. Just let us know. So, Rachel and I can edit these templates. So like, for example, the broker remarks matter. I'm not going to say they don't, but pictures are kind of what get people into properties. People love looking at photos. And so I've seen a lot of flyers where people have like this many photos, and then this is all just dead dramatic space for layout purposes. I'm really photo heavy. Obviously, if you have a listing, I know Isaac had one where the main allure of the property was that it was two big parcels rather than a beautiful home. That was one where we did change up the design in the back, so there was a little more layout room, so it didn't look like anything was missing. But if you have like a nice looking home, the more photos, the better. Okay. So all of this stuff pretty much can get done before you go live, right? So the goal is that if you are planning on having a listing coming up, you're going to schedule your signpost up, you're going to schedule your photos, and then the day you go live, you should have all this stuff printed and ready to go, so it's no stress. You can even leave it in the property the night before. That way, when you put on the lockbox and put up your sign, it's ready to go. Ideally, when you get the photos for your listing, either if you want to do it yourself, Rachel and I can send you the templates and you can just drop in photos yourself. But if for some reason you can't, or you're struggling with it, or you just don't have time, Rachel and I are here for you to design that flyer, to get your social media posts made. We just need the photos and the marketing remarks. So, we can look up the property on the tax assessor site and figure out how many bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, etc. But we can't get these pictures. So we'll drop in the cover photo where it's listed. Oh, this one's the wrong one for Crick. Here we go. This one's probably better. So we have a couple different templates for you guys on this one too. We have black, white, gold, whatever your personal colors are. Starts with the cover photo. Rachel and I typically send the pending and the sold post at the same time. That way you have them ready to go. But then we'll include some sort of interior photo or some sort of alluring photo, the marketing remarks, and then pictures of the property. If there are any pictures you don't want highlighted, let us know. Typically, we try to post, the maximum amount of posts we can have on one post is 10 slides. So that is only, let's see, 30 photos or so. So just let us know if you're like, you really want the master, I don't know, say the laundry room. You want to include a picture of it because the washer dryer are included in the sale. That's something that Rachel and I would probably not put a picture of the laundry room in there. So if it's something you do want to stand out, just let us know.
And
I would
again,
even say too, Robyn, like if you like, at least for me personally, I don't really care so much about the marketing remarks, like, but if you send me the pictures and the MLS number, like I can do the rest from there.
Well, I care about the marketing remarks a lot because I'm the one that typically posts for you guys.
No,
So-
I just mean I'll copy them from the MLS.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
That's what I mean. So if you just send the MLS number and like, because the pictures like lose some quality when they're on the MLS, like, and we have to copy or like save them from there. But if you just send me the MLS number, I can get your marketing remarks.
It's perfect. So as you guys know, I post about all of your new listings pretty much within 24 hours, sometimes 48 if I'm out of town. But Rachel and I are pretty fast about getting on here about this. So let's see, Hannah Small, that's a great example of her personal branding. This is her listing. Hannah likes it really small, really clean. We've got her logo in the corner. I don't know how I haven't liked that already, but I also include her hashtags, and then in the marketing, I pull from the marketing remarks to make the caption. So she talks about how it's upgraded. She had a before and after on her story. I wanted to drive more people to her real estate page, but then she also uses her personal page sometimes. So I tagged both. Online marketing, even if it's not, like, for example, Wilson Kim, he does not have a Facebook business page. He doesn't have a professional Instagram, but this is something that we posted about on our Instagram and on our Facebook, and it got 300 views. So it's one of those things where even if you don't have social media, obviously, you know, someone like Jordan Pritchard, she posted about this, she shared the post, and then her clients also shared it. I would not be surprised if by Friday this has 900 people that have seen it. There is a huge power in sharing your posts, but if for some reason you can't, it is still worth it to have Rachel and I post about your new listings on here. In addition to that, something new that we're doing for our office is every weekend on Fridays, Rachel and I are going to be posting about the open houses for the weekend in Instagram stories and on Facebook stories. So if you have an open house coming up and you have a specific time that it's happening and you have not input it to the MLS yet, it is easiest if you send that information to Rachel and I. We will create the social media post for you. You can just go into your account, post it, or we'll post it for you, and hopefully that'll draw more attention. For example, you know, Wilson had another listing that came on market recently, and I believe it was Jada that sat the listing. Was it you, Jada? Or you sat for Christy? I don't remember, but
Christy.
You sat for Christy. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So, for example, I can make Jada a post about the open house for Christy's listing and say like listed by Christy Hall. And that way you guys both kind of get credit for it. So for example, I know that Glenn showed Isaac's house. She hosted an open house for his listing in Fauntleroy. Let me find it. Okay. So this is Isaac's listing. And so I think up here it says, yeah, listing courtesy of Isaac Schaefer, but we've incorporated Blend's branding and her style into this post. So, you know, if you're hosting an open for a different agent at a different office, let me know. I'll try to incorporate their office's branding and stuff. But if it's ROGTK, it's super easy for us to do that.
I just wanted to say, guys, last Thursday, if you weren't at the last Thursday meeting, I would really encourage you to go back and watch that, because that's about how to get your listing ready. And then we decided to make this Thursday 2.0 today on Tech Tuesday about how to market your listing. I would really consider getting this stuff ready ahead of time and taking some print samples on a listing appointment, showing, you know, if somebody's just contacting you about like, yeah, I'm thinking about listing their home, and you're like, yeah, let me come over. What if you brought a folder, a Realty One Group folder with some of your marketing samples and say, I have a full marketing team behind me and they design all this for me, or we have all of these designs for your home, however you want to say it. That's a huge takeaway I want you guys to take from this, is that not patting Realty One Group, our brokerage on the back, but most brokerages, you're on your own for marketing. We help you with this. And if you want to go on Canva and make your own designs, that's totally fine too. But feel free to take some of these designs and put your own picture and your own information and print some of these and have these in your office that you're having a Zoom meeting, you can kind of show people, here's what my marketing looks like. This is like such a great way to sell yourself. I also will, when I'm at a listing appointment, I will show them our Facebook page and our Instagram and be like, look, we post and we look at all these followers we have, and they all are going to see these posts. So when we market your home, we market on the MLS and a bunch of other places. So anyways, I have to step away for, I'll be right back. I just muted myself.
Robyn is also stepping away for the time being, so we're just going to take a little
Sorry,
break.
I'm back.
Oh, we're back. Break's over.
My boyfriend locked himself out and I had to drop keys off the balcony. Sorry, guys. Okay. So those are like some of the really basic things that I think are pretty standard that should come along with any of your listings. But in addition to that, you can go above and beyond, right? So here's where we talk about some extra marketing stuff. So for example, Blen, she loves doing door knocking. And so if she has a listing, I will create a door knocking flyer for her or an open house flyer, whatever she needs. And then she will go to the neighbors and knock on their door. And if they don't answer, she'll just leave this open house flyer. I know that Aisha, for example, she was hosting an open house for Craig. And so I made Aisha her own like door knocking flyer. And she went around to all the neighbors and let them know that she was hosting the open. And when she did that, one of the neighbors ended up coming to her showing and then ended up writing an offer on the house with her. So it's a little extra, but it's definitely something that you guys can do. And then in addition to that, some of the most successful real estate agents I know have utilized print marketing. This is jumping into a pool. Like this is something where if you want to commit to print marketing, it is going to cost a pretty penny and it is going to take some time before you get results. If you are specifically marketing your listing, I think the smartest way to go about it is to post about your new listing. I think you can farm the area. So you reach out to a title rep, they'll give you a list of addresses of owner occupied properties in the neighborhood, and then you mail your postcards to them, what have you. So, we've got this dead space where the address goes in, but this is from Danny. We've got, some of her information in here, some of her branding. This is something where she sent out the new listing. But if I was her, I would have sent out new listing. I would have sent it out when it was sold. And then I would follow up with a free property valuation. And on the back talked about how much above asking this house went for, how she's able to help you figure out what your home is worth at no cost to you. So that's kind of the biggest point, is just you have to keep hitting the same people over and over and over again. So if Danny did a new listing and then a sold and then a follow-up free property valuation, like that's great, but that's only like, maybe 1 month, 1.5 to 2 months of marketing right there. Follow it up and talk about how she is a Sumner local and she knows the area, how she has a new listing in this area that is also in the city, but maybe not out of this neighborhood, to try and draw people to realize like, hey, she's so busy. She does so much business. That's something that I think is a smart thing to put out there too. You want to sell yourself not only as just an agent, but as a resource. And then you always want to show how productive and busy you are rather than saying so, if that makes sense. If you say like, oh, I'm so busy, I'm just working all the time, blah, 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 you're kind of going to give people the vibe that like they don't have time for me, or if they do, I'm not going to get their full attention. I'm not going to get their full, like, I'm not going to get my money's worth out of them. If you just show you're busy and don't break a sweat, like, clients prefer that so much more. We have a bunch of different size of postcards available. Any sort of template you want, I can make up for you. Kind of depends on what you want though. So like Ashley Dix, for example, she wants to send out postcards to clients in an area, and she got this huge list. Like, I think it was going to cost her like $1,000 or something to send out postcards to everyone in her farm. $1,000 for one time of postcard sent is not a smart, in my opinion, it's not a great use of your money. Like, if I got something like this in the mail, I'd be like, oh, cute. And then I'd throw it in the trash. And I would never remember Danny's name. And I wouldn't remember Ashley's name. But if I got a postcard every month for 6 months, for a year, eventually I would start to associate that agent with this area and with being like the real estate person to talk to. And that would be a smarter use of her money. So I know, Lisa, you were talking about finding the pockets. I'm not 100% sure where you live, but like, think about the saturation, right? So I'm in Tacoma. Trying to sell yourself as a real estate agent in Tacoma can be really hard because there are so many agents here. But, you know, Isaac, for example, targets specifically the North Slope. And, you know, he gets listings in that area because of it, because he's not trying to target all of Tacoma. He's trying to target a specific pocket. So the more specific you get, the better impact you will have.
Sometimes I've done this in the past. I can't 100% say I got business off it, but just after the first of the year, you send out a calendar with your picture on it. Those are pretty good. That's a pretty good thing to invest in, because they're probably going to put a magnetic like calendar on their fridge. So when they look at the calendar, your picture's there. That's saying these people don't have a real estate agent. I mean, there's a possibility to get some.
So I'm going to be honest, I love print materials, but I cannot tell you how many showings I've been to where I've seen someone's little calendar or the Mariners game schedule or the Seahawks schedule or whatever with their face on it and whatever. And it's a different agent than who listed the property. Like, unfortunately, I think that's like a nice way to contact someone, but it's maybe not, it's not very specific to you. And it's not very specific to them, right? It's just kind of something you've given them. I think if you're planning on making marketing materials, so something that I'm planning on doing mugs, and then I'm planning on doing tote bags. I think those are two of the best things that I could give to my client sphere that would get my visibility out there, because, you know, Instagram is a real thing. People want to take pictures of themselves looking cute with your coffee cup and tag you in it. I don't think people are going to go to their fridge and like take a picture of the calendar and say like, oh, my agent sent me this. Like, it would have to come with a real knock 'em dead card about how much you appreciate them and want to talk to them or something in order to like really get their attention.
Yeah, but I was just talking about a more like a farm area versus specific clients that you already have. Sure, a nice gift for a client is great, you know, that they can, you know, post. But I'm just saying, if you don't, like, you just sold a house or something in a neighborhood, you could farm them, you know, for the holidays or something, like I said, with that calendar. Yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I mean, just the chance.
It just kind of depends on who you're targeting, right? And so it kind of depends on the area you're focusing on too. So like, you know, I farm Tacoma. So for me, if I was going to do like a magnet kind of thing that we stuck on the fridge, I probably wouldn't pick like the Mariners or a calendar. I would pick like the Rainiers schedule, the baseball team, right? Isaac, the Rainiers are a baseball team.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Correct. That's correct.
I was like, wait, are they a soccer team? No, they're a baseball team. But you know what I mean? Like, I would pick something specific to Tacoma. And so that's something that I've talked about with Jada too. So if, for example, she's sending out postcards and she doesn't have a new listing or something, if she's trying to sell herself as an area expert, think about having someone split the cost with you. So these are something where if you want to sell yourself as a neighborhood expert, you could go in with a lender on postcards. I'll design them for you guys both. Talks about how no matter what your real estate need is between the lender and the agent, there's nothing we can't answer or help you with. That's something you could send out if you're interested. Like Jada and I were talking about how much it matters to us to support local small business. So for example, I just went to King's Books today. And King's Books is one of my absolute favorite parts of Tacoma. It's like a whole city block of books. I could spend 5 hours in there. Also, there's cats. It's fantastic. So if I wanted to, I could go to the owner of King's Books and be like, hi, I'm Robyn Rodriguez. I'm a real estate agent here in Tacoma. I love your store. I am sending out postcards to everyone in the North Slope. I was wondering if I could include a coupon or something for 50 cents off or $1 off a book at King's Books. And then on the back of this postcard, I could talk about, hey, I'm your local real estate expert, and I'm here to shine a light on one of our amazing small businesses in town, learn more about King's Books, and then have the coupon on there. And then have some picture of me surrounded by books or something on the cover. And I would be reading the laws of real estate or something. So
I love that idea. And what's the worst case? They say no and you say perfect and you go to the next business.
And especially restaurants. Restaurants are dying right now. COVID has been a slow, debilitating death. And so reaching out to restaurants and not asking them for, if you're offering something like $2 off, maybe that's something that they'd want to pitch in for. Maybe they're like, actually, I would love to go and pay 20% of these postcards if you don't mind including this specific information about my business. So sometimes companies will want to go in on it with you, but in this market, I think one of the best ways to show that you're a boss doing good business is just to give as much of those businesses some grace. And so, for example, if I was doing the 25 cents off King's Books and I was already planning on targeting this farm anyway, I probably wouldn't ask King's Books to go in on it because my goal isn't to have them pay for the postcards. The goal is that I've created value in this postcard. So whoever I send them out to doesn't immediately throw them out. Anytime I get a coupon for Hallmark, I put it on my fridge. Half the time I don't use it in time. But I think every time I pass it, I should go to Hallmark. Sort of same thing with this. I think that's just kind of some of the basics. Isaac, was there anything that you wanted to go over?
No, I mean, you don't have to do all of this, right? You don't have to send out mailers. It all kind of comes down to your budget. But what I wanted to say is that the more you offer to do for a listing, the more likely you are to separate yourself from the people who are not offering to do that. And a lot of these things I will do open houses for you. I will send out mailers to neighbors, letting them know that we've listed their home and to tell anyone they know. I will, do all this marketing and so on and post on social media and so on. It's just separating you from everybody else. And it also, they benefit you, right? It's marketing for you. It's not a net loss if you send out mailers for the seller in air quotes, right? Because you're really sending them out for you to show people that you are the expert in the area. So just really consider adding that to your listing budget. We're already paying $200 for pictures and you're already paying $40 to put up a signpost and all this other stuff. To send out 50-cent postcards to neighbors, you could send to 200 people for $100. And that is something that your seller is going to be like, whoa, the other listing broker who I interviewed didn't offer to do that. And you're like, yeah, that's because I do the best. And ultimately, you're actually helping yourself by doing that because now you're likely to get a call from those people asking what their home is worth. And maybe they want to sell their home. So all these things are kind of an investment. And if you're making $10,000 commission, you spend a total of $600, $700, $800 getting this home marketed and ready to list. It's such a small percentage of what you're making, and it's an investment into your business. So great.
And
Great content, Robyn.
Thank you. And that's something that you can do too. So for example, I haven't had any listings. I've only had buyers, but something I've offered to do for my buyers, I always take a cute little picture of them with a sold sign or a picture of them getting keys or whatever. But then I offer, I'm like, hey, if you tell me all the names and addresses of your friends and family, I will pay to send them a just moved postcard on your behalf, as long as you're cool with me having like my contact info and a testimonial from you on the back.
Also, oh, go ahead, Robyn.
That's been huge for me. So being able to do something like that means that all of my clients, friends, and family, their sphere has a note from my client saying like, hey, I moved. Here was my agent. They were amazing. Here's my new place. Like, that gets people talking to your buyer, and then they'll ask about the postcard, and then you can start building a relationship with them, hopefully.
I was just gonna say too, like Robyn's covered so much already, but like if there's something that you think we do that we didn't cover, or like something you think might be a good idea, you can always reach out to Robyn or myself and we'll kind of look into it for you.
Anything you can dream up that you want designed, we're here for you. I did want to mention though, one last thing. So if you have a pre-listing packet, so for example, these are $150. Rachel and I make them. The reason they're a pretty penny is because they are customized to your previous listings, to your branding, etc. So it's pretty time intensive, but this is the packet that we make that, for example, Wilson gave to his clients before he won the listing in order to win the listing. So we've got his bio in here, his previous testimonials, his team, and all of this is applicable for you. Even if you don't hire Sarah, even if you don't use me, we are still considered part of your team. If you wanted to swap this out and have Isaac in here, like if you're a newer agent, you wanted to talk about how Craig Tuttle, Isaac Schaefer, they are behind you, here to help, blah, blah, blah. We can add that in there. But we also have stuff like this communication guarantee that says, you know, you'll have information about your home 24/7 via my website and mobile app. I'll be able to answer questions about your property from 9 to 5 for my office. You know, make sure whatever you're promoting in here matches what you're actually going to do. So for example, you know, we've got like what sets the service apart, and then we have the marketing plan. And so the marketing plan talks about your signage. So this is where we would put your specific sign, or the flyers that you make. So this is where we would put your specific flyers. Online marketing, this is where we would put your specific social posts. So like I said, Wilson doesn't have his own social media. So we just have our office social media on here, because if any of his clients go here, they will see that we have promoted Wilson's listing like he said that we were going to. So yeah, just make sure that whatever you say you're going to do, you're congruent with when you actually do it, because not meeting someone's expectations is a bummer. All right, I think that is about everything. I can't see who all is in this meeting anymore. Do you guys have any questions or concerns or anything?
I think that was great. Thanks, Robyn.
Awesome.
Good job,
Okay.
Robyn.
Yay, thank you guys so much for coming. I'm sorry that was kind of long and rambly. I just had like a lot to show you really fast. Lisa, if you want to follow up, or Jada too, if you want to follow up with Rachel and I about like, hey, can you send me my flyer? Can you send me, you know, open house content for the weekends, etc. Just let us know, and then we will send those templates to you. And since they're shared, if anything goes wrong, like let's say you put in the marketing remarks and they're too long or something, Rachel and I can go in there and fix it for you. That way you can download the original file without us having to send it back and forth via email. So that is everything.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much, you guys, for coming. I hope you have a fantastic